Hello everyone, welcome to Claret and Booze. This is a daily ramble, a very frustrated daily ramble. I'm a mess. I'm doing DIY again. I've hurt my finger. I ain't even had a shower yet. I've been putting furniture up and doing all sorts of shit, and then I just got the phone call of all phone calls. Well, I really didn't want to hear this. As always, if you're new to this channel, please subscribe, hit the bell notification, and don't forget, drop a like on the video. As I said on the video yesterday, the Brian Brobby deal, well, the first one, you know, my birthday video where I kicked off and said us leaking this story and alerting the world to it, which was definitely an internal leak, 100%, that's been confirmed now, has alerted everyone to a very, very in-demand player. Very in demand. Spurs were looking to see if they could do a deal for him, but they couldn't raise the finances for it because they need strengthening elsewhere. Nottingham Forest are interested, and this is not going to please any of you. The club closest to sign Brian Brobby now is Everton. David Moyes has identified this player as the man that he wants to lead his attack and bring the goals to Everton. We're just messing around. We had the opportunity to get this deal done and dusted before it even broke. Basically, what Ajax want is a loan. They're willing to delay the payment by 6 months so that we don't breach PSR. So it's a buy now, pay later. You know, a loan with an obligation to buy in the summer. However, there was all sorts of back and forth with Sullivan. When you bear in mind there's 16 games left, Sullivan was trying to put all sorts of clauses in there so that it only triggers the obligation if he plays 12 games, if he does this, if he does that. It was just, he was doing everything that he could to drag this out. He could have had this one. This was a very simple deal to do, and it was far less than what he was going to be going for in the summer. Basically, not far off what we paid for Fulkrug for a 22-year-old player that was scoring for fun a couple of years ago, playing in the Champions League, bags and bags of potential, and loads of resale value. It was an absolute steal, but he's been dragging his heels the whole way through with every deal, even with Gomez. So with Gomez, just very quickly, you know, that is still in the mix. But with Gomez, the reason this was held up, we could have had that signed 2 weeks ago. But what it was, first and foremost, when a player is on a free transfer, whatever their value is, they demand a portion of that value, normally around about half, as a signing on bonus. That's the risk that they take in running down their contracts. They could get injured. So the money that you would pay to a club, you take around about half of that and you give that to the player. It's still far cheaper than going out and paying for the player, because even then it'd still demand a signing on bonus. And normally what happens is that money gets paid up front. Well, first and foremost, you know, with the Angel Gomez deal, he agreed to less than what he wanted. Still very reasonable, mind. Very reasonable. I won't say the amount. Sullivan wasn't happy, so he baited him down, got him down to a certain amount. And then said, well, we can't pay you up front. We want it spread over the course of your contract. So a certain amount every year. All right, okay, yeah, fine, we'll do that. Then, after all of the preliminary talks were had, and it was fine, we're finally there, Sullivan inserts a clause into the contract to say that if we get relegated, mind, so if after 1 year, so your signing on bonus, basically your transfer fee, imagine doing this to an actual club, your transfer fee, if we get relegated, it's void. We don't have to pay you anymore. Of course, he was never going to sign that. He was never going to sign it. And then he went back trying to get more off the deal as well. The player wanted to come, could still come. But again, Sullivan is trying to do everything that he can to squeeze deals. And it looks like intentionally sabotage any transfers that we're looking at doing. You look at the Duran deal, a complete and utter fallacy. He knew it weren't going to get accepted. This Brian Brobby deal was too good to turn down. But he went, no, I just want a loan. And they're like, this is a Champions League player. We're not going to give you him for 6 months. You've got to show some commitment. So if you want him, we'll loan him to you for PSR, but there's got to be an obligation. He's back and forth, leaking it to the press so that everyone knows what's going on. Half the intermediaries at West Ham are all out just trying to fucking ship these players out elsewhere because they're blocking the pathway to their players that they're trying to push in, a.k.a. Barry Silkman trying to push Andre Silva. So, yeah, this is what you're dealing with here. This is what you're dealing with. You know, They're not all trying to help each other out. They're not. They're competing against each other. Everyone at West Ham, including Brady now, going out trying to get deals done. They're all out there trying to sort of jockey for position, and they're trying to outdo each other. And meanwhile, Sullivan's just sitting there going, no, less. It's got to be less. It's got to be. You're not shopping in Aldi's and Lidl's. We're a Premier League club. If you want, these are actual bargains that we've had put on a table for this man. But I'm arriving at the stage now, and I'm not saying the Brobby deal is dead, because make no bones about it, Brian Brobby would 100% rather come to London than go to Everton. That much is clear. We've just got to agree to the same terms that Everton have just offered, which is basically what Ajax want. You know, presented them to Everton, they've gone, oh yeah, that's all right. Yeah, go on, we'll go for that. So providing we can match Everton, we'll get that player because he wants to come to London. But I don't think we're going to. We're not going to. Now we're throwing more people in the mix. Now you've got this Carl McCauley who's coming as well. So, and don't tell me that this is a good thing, because it isn't. I'm glad Potter's got a right-hand man in there. But how many people have we now got looking at players, trying to push players through? Now you've apparently got Maximilian Hahn, Carl McCauley. You've got all of Sullivan's minions in fucking Salthouse, Silkman, all putting players in the pot. Who's actually going to make the final decision on what players we go for? Let me tell you who that is. David Sullivan. It doesn't matter how many analysts we've got, how many scouts we've got. Ultimately, the players we're going to go for are going to be the one that Sullivan wants, and they're always going to be the cheapest deal and the best for him, right? That is literally the way it's going to be. So, like I said to you, I don't know that Brobby is going to go to Everton, but that is a phone call that I've just had. Moyes has literally come in and said, I want that player. And Everton have basically put the money in there. The stories I've been told that Brobby has been over here discussing terms are false. He has not been over here discussing terms. They haven't got that far yet. They haven't agreed with Ajax what the fee is. He won't be coming to the club until we've agreed with Ajax the terms of the deal to them. Then Brobby comes over. It's nowhere near done. It never has been. I don't know where people have been getting this story from. So, yes, it could happen. I hope it happens. Because if this doesn't happen, we're not getting a striker in this window unless it's Andre Silva. You know, and I was told that was absolute crap and we was never going to get him. But basically, we know Salthouse Sullivan clients, Salthouse and Silkman clients, basically what they're doing is they're just clearing the decks, making it so that we've got nowhere else to go. So every player we get linked with that gets pointed in our direction, everyone's doing everything they can to sabotage these deals. So that all we've got in the end is one fucking choice. And that's probably what we're going to end up with now. Do you know what? That's probably that's where I think this is going. We're going to get Andre Silva for about 30 minutes before he gets injured for 6 months. That's what we're going to get, you know, with an obligation to buy probably, because Sullivan won't piss and moan when it's one of his mates that's doing the deal. Oh, yeah, good, get it done. If it's someone else coming in, he just keeps on squeezing it until they walk away, because he's got no interest. The one thing he's got interest in is saying we tried. Well, look, we did try for that player, but they didn't want to come. The player was too greedy. The agent was too greedy. No, mate, you're too fucking greedy. Everyone knows. Everyone knows it's you and every one of your fucking cartel on that board. It's never to do with the right player coming into West Ham. It's to do with who represents that player. And we all know why that is, don't we? So, yes, David Moyes is probably going to get Brian Brobby. He is in the Antonio mould, but probably better because he's got more technical ability. We know what Moyes did with Antonio. He'll probably go on to do very well for Everton. Well done, David Sullivan. You fucking genius. You're amazing, mate. You're so good at your job, you little fucking tit.